It wasn't the blood. It wasn't the missing wife. It wasn't even the whispers of murder. It was what the police found buried in the basement. Not a body, but a chunk of flesh. No head, no limbs, no bones, just flesh, wrapped in a pajama top, with a label from the missing woman's clothes. And her husband? He was halfway across the Atlantic, disguised as someone else, with his lover, pretending she was his son. This isn't fiction. This is London, 1910. And this is the story of Dr. Crippen. Hawley Harvey Crippen was a quiet, soft-spoken American doctor who moved to London with dreams bigger than his courage. He wasn't a real physician. He dabbled in homeopathy and alternative medicine practice, and made a modest living selling patent remedies for ailments that probably didn't exist. He married Cora Turner, a loud, flashy, and dramatically ambitious woman. She sang under the name Belle Elmore. She wasn't good, but she believed she was a star. Their home at 39, Hilltop Crescent, was a picture of contrast. He, a reserved man in spectacles and nervous twitches. She, a flamboyant woman with dreams of limelight and a taste for younger men. Their marriage was anything but happy. Cora mocked him, in public, in private, to anyone who would listen. She flirted openly, had affairs, while Crippen watched silently. But then one night, Cora disappeared. It started subtly. Belle Elmore missed a meeting with her women's club. Then another. Then she stopped writing to her friends. Vanished from the stage. Vanished from gossip. Vanished from her loud, unmissable life. Crippen gave explanations. He said she had returned to the United States. That she was ill. That she had died suddenly. That she didn't want to be found. Each story was slightly different. Each one more suspicious. People didn't buy it. Because weeks after Cora disappeared, Ethel Leneve, Crippen's secretary, moved into the house. Neighbors raised eyebrows. Friends contacted police. Something wasn't right. Detective Chief Inspector Walter, due of Scotland Yard, paid Crippen a visit. The doctor was calm. Too calm. He said Cora had gone back to America, and he hadn't wanted to embarrass her. Due nodded. He didn't push. But something felt wrong, so he came back unexpectedly, and Dr. Crippen was gone. Crippen and Ethel had vanished. A few clothes missing. Jewelry gone. A few pounds taken from the bank. No trace. But the strange part? Ethel was dressed as a boy. Crippen cut his mustache. Changed his name. Booked passage under an alias. They boarded the SS Montrose, sailing from Antwerp to Canada. The disguise was convincing, but the ship's captain, Henry Kendall, had been reading newspapers. He saw through the ruse, and in one of the most dramatic moves in early crime history, he sent a wireless telegram from the ship to Scotland Yard. Have strong suspicions that Crippen and Leneve are aboard. Back in London, Chief Inspector due race against time. He booked passage on a faster ship, the SS Laurentic. It would arrive in Canada first. The Hunter was now chasing the hunted across the Atlantic Ocean. With Crippen gone, police returned to the house at Hilltop Crescent. They tore it apart, room by room, floor by floor, until they reached the coal cellar. Something smelled wrong. Underneath a loose brick floor, they found a bundle, wrapped in cloth. Inside was human flesh. Not a full body, just a torso. No head, no hands, no feet. Unidentifiable except for one thing. The fabric wrapped around it matched Cora's favorite pajamas. And inside the cloth, they found a hair curler. The kind Cora used. The flesh had been treated with hyoscine, also known as scopolamine, a rare drug, one that Dr. Crippen had been purchasing in large quantities just weeks before his wife disappeared. On July 31st, 1910, the SS Montrose pulled into the port of Quebec. Crippen stood on deck with his son. But on the dock, a small group waited. Chief Inspector Dew, disguised as a pilot, boarded the ship. He approached Crippen. "Good morning, Dr. Crippen," he said. Crippen blinked. The game was over. He didn't run, didn't fight. He quietly surrendered. Ethel broke down in tears. They were taken back across the ocean to stand trial. Crippen's trial began in October 1910 at the Old Bailey in London. The courtroom was packed. Reporters filled every seat. The story had captured the world. Crippen sat quietly. Ethel testified on his behalf. She said she never saw a body, never suspected murder. The prosecution painted a different story. They described a man pushed to his limit, humiliated by his wife, obsessed with his mistress. They said he poisoned Cora, dismembered her, hid the remains. Then they brought out the damning evidence. The flesh, the fabric, the hyoscine, and the biggest blow, a pathologist testified that he found a scar on the piece of flesh, a scar that matched one Cora had just above her waist. The jury took less than half an hour. Guilty. Dr. Crippen was hanged on November 23rd, 1910 at Pentonville Prison. He wrote a letter before his death. In it, he claimed he was innocent, that he never killed Cora, that the remains weren't hers, that he had been caught in a web of lies and mistakes. But the world didn't believe him. He was buried in an unmarked grave. Ethel? She was released, never charged. She changed her name, lived in quiet shame, and faded from the public eye. Over a century later, questions still linger. Was the body really Cora's? In 2007, modern DNA tests suggested the remains were male, not female, not Cora. Did Crippen really kill his wife? Or was he covering up something else? And if he didn't kill her, where did she go? Some believe Cora ran away, that she faked her own disappearance, that Crippen was a scapegoat. Others believe the evidence still points to murder. A man pushed too far, a marriage poisoned by cruelty, a plan that went too far to turn back. One thing for sure, this wasn't just a murder. It was one of the first global manhunts, a media circus, a courtroom drama, and a mystery that still haunts true crime history. This was the case of Dr. Crippen. Thanks for watching State of Crime. If this story gripped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. We dive deep into the darkest corners of true crime every single week. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Dr. Crippen was guilty, or did he hang for someone else's crime?